We have all heard about the recent row between Canada and India over the killing of a prominent Sikh leader, Hardeep Singh, in Canada. Uh, I'm not going to talk about that issue because you have already heard a lot, and it is kind of what they say, talk of the town. There's so many people talking about it. But what I will talk about today is another episode that has come to highlight because of this case, and that is a rather unfamiliar name that is emerged during the discussions, which is the Five Eyes. Now, I'll not be surprised if most of you have not heard this term before, and even now it has been mentioned in a passing. But what is the significance of Five Eyes and why we need to learn about it? That is my subject of discussion today. In recent years, we have seen a number of groups or alliances which have come up, particularly against China, like the Quad or the AUKUS or the I2U2, etc. In my opinion, these organizations or alliances are merely for optics to justify certain actions or decisions. If ultimately, if there is a final showdown with China, then the organization, the alliance that would matter will be the Five Eyes. And that is the reason why Five Eyes has been kept under shrouds. And that is the reason why we need to learn more about Five Eyes. So let's find out a little more about the Five Eyes. A couple of years back, a local think tank here in Islamabad organized a discussion on emerging alliances against China. Well, all the speakers, they talked about primarily three alliances, which I've just mentioned, the Quad and the AUKUS and the I2U2, for good reasons. And when I got the opportunity after the speakers to comment as a discussant, I was not surprised to find out that the people did not know about the Five Eyes, or some just brushed it as a thing of the past. And exactly for that reason, I asked the participants to watch the Five Eyes. And at least in that context, I feel vindicated today. How did the name surface now? According to David Cohen, the US ambassador in Canada, there was shared intelligence among Five Eye partners that helped lead Canada to make the statements that the Prime Minister made. I'm not sure if it was uh, an intentional disclosure of the name or just an inadvertent slip of the tongue. But the genie is out of the bottle once again. So, what's Five Eyes and what is its significance? Five Eyes is primarily an intelligence sharing platform between five countries: the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. By the way, all English speaking countries. The origins of the Five Eyes can be traced back to informal collaboration between the code breakers of the United States and UK during the Second World War. This informal collaboration had started much before the US actually entered the war. Then came the Atlantic Charter in August 1941 to lay out the Allied goals for the post-war world. In 1943, an initial agreement was signed between the UK and US governments to facilitate intelligence sharing, which was further formalized in 1946 as a secret treaty known as Yokosuka Agreement or the UK-USA Agreement, which forms the foundation of the Five Eyes. In 1948, this treaty was extended to include Canada, followed by Norway, Denmark, and West Germany. Well, Norway, Denmark, and West Germany only remained collaborating partners in the arrangement until 1955. In 1956, Australia and New Zealand formally became part of the alliance, and there onwards, it's an exclusive and almost secretive alliances of five Anglophone, that is English speaking countries, which I have just mentioned: UK, USA, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. The alliance countries reportedly share human intelligence, signal intelligence, as well as security, geospatial, and defense intelligence with each other. Famous whistleblower and former NSA contractor Snowden, he describes this organization as a supranational intelligence organization that does not answer for the known laws of its own countries. Documents leaked by Snowden in 2013 reveal that Five Eyes countries have been spying on each other's citizens as well, besides on other countries, and sharing that intelligence uh, amongst each other. Although all these countries deny that they have gone against any domestic laws. Leaked documents also revealed several joint projects uh, undertaken for surveillance and intelligence between these countries. As an extension of the alliance, a secretive global surveillance network called Echelon was developed in the 60s. Though the US government officially denies its existence, the Five Eyes has two types of information collection methods: the PRISM program and the upstream collection system. The PRISM program gathers user information from technology firms such as the Google, Apple, and Microsoft, etc. While the upstream system gathers information directly from the communications of individuals via fiber cables and infrastructure. In the aftermath of the 9/11 attacks on the Twin Towers, the capability of gathering intelligence of the Five Eyes has been enhanced tremendously. During the run up to the Iraq War, the communications of the UN weapons inspector Hans Blix were monitored by this agency, and also the office of the UN Secretary General Kofi Annan was bugged by the British agents. A leaked NSA memo by a British whistleblower, Catherine Gunn, explains the plans of the Five Eyes to monitor communications of at least six uh, UN delegations of different countries to put pressure on them to vote for invasion of the Iraq. Would you like to know the names of these six countries? Angola, Cameroon, Chile, Bulgaria, Guinea, and quote unquote, with a special focus on Pakistan. In recent years, common interests such as the rise of China have brought the Five Eyes uh, together again, and they are collaborating more and more. We also, of course, remember December 2018 when Meng Wanzhou, the daughter of the Huawei founder and boss, uh, was arrested in Canada, Vancouver International Airport to face charges in United States of America. Why? According to a Chinese newspaper, this was the beginning of a direct war between the leaders of China and the members of the Five Eyes. After this incident, China started monitoring its employees moving to the Five Eyes countries, which were at risk of being infiltrated by these countries, which caused further tension between the Five Eyes alliances and China. Some analysts believe that a number of European countries and, of course, some Asian countries like India, Japan, Singapore, South Korea, they have already been collaborating with the Five Eyes members, and perhaps in future the Five Eyes will be expanded to include these members, especially like India and Japan. But in my opinion, the Anglophones will never trust others. They will keep this alliance exclusive, and they have developed other alliances to cater for other countries. And eavesdropping on India in this particular case is also an example of that. I think they are only interested in using India against China. And Indians are also wise enough. They are also just exploiting the situation in their favor, and they will never take on China on the behest of the West. So primarily, both the parties are exploiting the vulnerabilities of each other with respect to China. In spite of continued controversy over its methods, Five Eyes remains the most comprehensive espionage alliance known in human history. In my humble opinion, if China, or for that matter any other country, wants to keep an eye, Five Eyes is the alliance to watch. Not the Quad, not the I2U2 AUKUS, etc., because they are already too visible. These organizations are probably good enough for public consumption and justification of certain decisions and actions, such as provision of nuclear submarines to Australia or the newly so-called space program under the aegis of I2U2, or providing technology and weapons to selective partners on selective occasions. And by the way, there are already a Nine Eyes and a 14 Eyes alliances. Please don't forget to give your feedback. Thank you.